A good evening to you, Anthony. It is 7 p.m. calling in from Georgia. I believe you're the first person that I'm interviewing who lives in Georgia. So, two questions. How has your day been? And how is it like over there in Georgia?
Thank you for asking. Thank you for having me, my friend. So, here in Georgia, it's already sunny now in May. We have around 20, 22 Celsius, very beautiful weather.
Mhm.
It's a very warm country. Even the winter is not very cold. So, I'm from Canada originally. And if you're used to having winters like minus 20, minus 30, it's quite a contrast when in the summer it's like 38 Celsius. So,
Mhm.
yeah, my day has been wonderful. I had a few sales calls this morning. I'm working with my business partner. We're growing the agency, having new clients, international deals, which I would love to speak more about, but we have some confidential stuff. But all of this, why it came true is I all started with the real world a few months ago, back in the summer. So without, and this is not like, I know some people will say, oh, is this like paid marketing? Or I can genuinely say, without the real world right now, I don't even know where I would be because last summer, so I was teaching languages. Basically, it was my full time income. I was teaching languages. And last summer, what happened is the business dropped dramatically, like to a point I had almost zero client left. There was a big peak during COVID at the beginning because people were at home. They wanted to have some lessons. So I'm teaching French and English. And then when
Mhm.
the restrictions loosened up, what happened is they all start to travel and go everywhere. And I had no clients left almost. But I'm a father and I'm a husband. So I had three people to feed. I could not just say, well, let me go back in monk mode as a student eating ramen in my apartment. That wasn't a solution for me. So that's pretty much at the time I discovered Tate and the real world. That was like, yeah, back in the summer. And I was like, you know what? For 50 bucks, I really have nothing to lose. Let's go. I'm all in. Let's start somewhere. And I would say from my natural strengths, I'm a good communicator, but I also like to write. So copywriting was the first campus that I decided to join. I studied very well, and after a few weeks only, I had already my first client on retainer. So I was able to communicate with some people, some business owner I knew in my neighborhood, in my warm network, which is something I learned from Professor Andrew Bass. He said, use your power base, use your warm network. Don't do just cold outreach. And I remember I was promoting that in the chats. Guys, don't neglect people around you. I got my first three clients, retainers, with people I knew already that I had trust, and they just believed in me as a beginner, but they gave me a chance. And these were my first, monthly payments.
Okay, so a lot to go into here.
Yeah.
First, let's roll it back a bit. We'll get to the real world in a bit. First, I'd like to know about the minus 20 to minus 30 degrees temperatures. I grew up in Lithuania. It was very similar. It would get
Mhm.
that low, and then summer, sometimes I think it's reached 40 degrees as well. So I'm used to that contrast. Now, why did you choose to move to Georgia?
Good question, my friend. So I didn't know about Georgia myself before 2018. So as I mentioned, I was teaching languages. I'm still teaching like a few hours a week, but it's not my main focus anymore. And at the time, there was a website called italki, which is still like a very known website where you can learn languages. And back in the days, they had the option to have a language exchange. So I was able to teach somebody for free in exchange of learning a language. So at the time, I was curious about Russian language. And believe it or not, that's how I met my wife. She's here on about. So we've been married for 4 years already. But at the time, so she was teaching me Russian. I was teaching her English. And after like a few weeks, she said, Anthony, do you know about Georgia and the Georgian language? I said, Georgia? I thought it was just a state in USA, but that was wrong. So she sent me some pictures. I saw some on Google. And, wow, this looked like a beautiful country. Let me see if I can go there this summer. So I moved there in July actually, and I didn't have a plane ticket to go back. I just said, I'm gonna go there, and I felt there was something strong with this woman. Of course, if it's online, you never know how it will turn out. I was telling myself, Anthony, don't be silly. Like you wouldn't fall in love with this girl, but actually things came true, and we got married. We have a 2-year-old daughter. She will turn 2 in July. We bought an apartment together, and even though now we're planning to go back to Canada, I will have my citizenship here in a few months. I have my residence card. So I built my life in Georgia from scratch, like absolute zero. I came here, I had nothing, no business, didn't know the language, no friends, just maybe I will get with this girl, which is maybe a simpy mindset when you think about it. But it turned out okay. And
Hmm.
I'm super open about this. You can ask me any question, but I love my life and it's a beautiful country to be here. And yeah, my daughter is learning English and Georgian, even though I'm not native English speaker, I'm native French speaker, but we speak English, me and my wife. So it's more convenient for now.
Good. So two things to say here. First, привет, как дела?
Как дела?
And second is, it's good that, yeah, I mean, in this case, you probably have experience with following your intuition, and that's probably
I
led
do.
you well throughout your life. So you
Yes,
decided to listen to it again, and here you are
absolutely.
now with a wife and
Yeah.
I'm sure a beautiful daughter.
Absolutely, both
Yeah,
wife and daughter are beautiful. I
of
can say
course.
a bit
Yes.
biased, but I know it's true.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I guess in that case, you had the self belief that your intuition would know the right move, and
I
it's
can even
beautiful
share
to see
something.
that
I
it
can
worked
tell you
out.
something. I'm not afraid to speak about this. I had some. It's quite intimate, but like I don't care. For me, I'm an open book, so I can speak about this easily. Before leaving, I wrote on paper, black on white, from an intuition. Like I had a meditation. I was like connected, and I received a message. Anthony, you will not need a flight to come back, and this is exactly what happened. So here you go on Rumble.
Beautiful.
If you listen your
Beautiful.
inner voice, if you're not afraid to take action when it seemed like it's the most like the scariest situation. My father gave me $500 to go. Like I had nothing. I came here. I had to borrow a spoon, a fork, and some sheets on my bed, just out of the adventure. I'm saying, you know what? Canada is done for me. There's something calling me in Georgia. Let me go there. Learning the language from scratch, like the alphabet. It's I don't know if anybody know about the Georgian language, but it's 33 letters. Some sound you cannot even imagine it exists, but they exist in the throat. And I had to learn from zero like a newborn. So it was
Mhm.
very like I had to be very humble at the beginning. And I think this attitude of being humble, and I know Tate often speaks about like you need to deserve your ego. I can really resonate with that, and I'm still very humble to this day because I'm not there yet. I have so much more to give, to offer, to like people to serve in my business, in my family. So when you don't know anything, you're there to learn. Find the right people around you. I think that's why like Hostage University slash the real world was really helpful because I could find some mentors, which you can speak pretty much direct. Yeah, even if these professors they seem like oh they're way more successful, but there's a way still to receive this wisdom on a daily basis, and this for me was absolutely a game changer for me.
Mhm. Beautiful story. So, at what point during this time period that you were in Georgia did you join the real world? How did you find out about it? And what made you actually decide to take that step to join?
Yeah. So if we go back, so I was saying so the last summer what happened is my business I was teaching languages like 35 40 hours a week, so it was my full-time income, but as you can imagine you're trading your time for money. So I was very limited in terms of how much I could earn by just teaching one lesson at a time, 20 $25 an hour. Like you're pretty much capped. And the thing is,
Mhm.
it was always one on one. So it's very tiring to do Zoom calls full day. You're an interviewer. You can imagine there's just if you have like three or four, but when you have like six, seven, eight, sometimes six in a row, not often, but still, it was more difficult to do that than what I'm doing now in marketing with more computer stuff. Of course, some sales calls, some client stuff, but it's not like having to listen to your mistakes for 60 minutes and always be happy, even though there was something in the background with your wife of 5 minutes ago. I had to learn how to put, I wouldn't say a facade, but to change instantly. Okay, teacher mode, boom. And this is helpful in life. But anyway, to come back to your question, so last summer, I had a massive drop in my business. Almost all my clients start to just travel and, oh, I know the language. Let me just explore the world. So I had like a few clients left, which was of course not enough to feed my family. So that's pretty much at the time I discovered Top G and Hostage University. the time it was not called the real world yet. So I said $50 a month. There's no reason not to join. I can definitely afford that. And anybody who says like, "Oh, is this worth my money?" What else are you gonna do with this $50? You can go buy McDonald's for two people, and that's it, pretty much. So it was the best decision. I would say, absolutely the best move of my life. I have also other investment in networking stuff, but in terms of ROI for this 50, I made thousands and thousands of dollars. And never in 1,000 years would university give me that, like a real university. Again, if you want to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, architect, fine, you do you. But I never related to university. I quit university after 6 weeks. It was not for me. I just like, this is not for me. I learned by doing stuff in the real world. There you go.
Mhm.
And that's what I did. I just went my own way and I found a way to succeed.
Good. So you said copywriting.
Yeah.
Did you have any prior experience with copywriting? Did you even know what it was
Zero.
before you joined?
Zero, my friend. Like absolutely zero. I start from scratch, the beginner boot camp, hold my hand, like zero, zero. So I was a good writer naturally because I'm good with words. People often complimented me in the past about that, but I will never say like, "Oh, I can write to sell anything." So it was a big step for me to just, okay, how can I monetize my love for words, both written and spoken? But spoken I could do already because I can teach, I can coach, consult. But no, written for was the first time. Yeah.
Mhm. And how long did it take you to acquire your first client?
So if I remember well, I would say around 5 weeks. But the first month, there was 1 week I think I had to take a break or something. Okay, it was not fully focused. So let's say 4 weeks before getting a first client, a
Mhm.
first retainer.
4
Yeah.
weeks. And then how has everything scaled for you since?
So at first, I will be honest with you, I had like a few clients, and then I didn't put any energy in the cold outreach, which I think maybe it was a mistake for me, but I had success with working with people I knew. So I was comfortable, which maybe it's not the right word. Like I don't want to be comfortable, but I was not doing any outreach. I will just be straight up honest with you. And recently, what I did is I just joined a new agency, not a new, well, a new position for the agency. So an existing agency, but a guy I met through a network. We had a first call, we had a good connection, and we became partner on that. Now I'm in charge of sales and prospecting, which is funny enough because I was not doing this for my other business, but I have the people skills to make it happen. And I already proved like if I make one-on-one connection through DMs, I can easily bring people to the business table and then open some amazing doors of opportunities. So I was stuck around, yeah, like 4 to 5K for many months because I was just not doing outreach. But now with this new opportunity, I would say like I can almost guarantee I will make 8 to 10K in May, uh, and I'm very conservative. So if that can inspire people, it's not done yet. I know like we should never celebrate before money is in the bank account, but just from what is in place for me, like I would have to get very badly injured for it not to happen. So let's see that
Mhm.
in this way. Yeah.
Good. That is great to hear. And even averaging 4 to 5K a month,
From
even
zero.
before
It's not
this, I
bad.
mean, that's
Wi-Fi money.
still
Yeah,
a
still not
good
bad.
amount of money.
In
Yeah.
most countries, it's good. Yeah, in Georgia, most people here earn $300-400 a month working full time.
Mhm.
So
All right.
I can really be grateful for that, no matter what. So
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then once things do scale for you, let's say in 3 months or so, we can do a follow up to
I
see
would
your
love to. I
progress
would
and
love to. Let's
document
go for the
everything.
20K, 25K then.
Very good. I
Yeah,
love that.
profit, not revenue.
Okay, so now going back to the real world, how different would you say the material is? Maybe access to the professors, the MAs, everything, compared to what's out there on the internet?
Good question. So really, for me, my experience with other courses in the past, like I was really much into having seminars and I could travel to some places. I had some mentors, but what I like about the real world is they are able to break it so easily into step by step processes, which can be quite difficult when you think about if let's say you're a master copywriter and you have to explain to a total beginner how to start having these skills. Like just by that by itself, I can admire the time it should have taken to do that from the professors and even like the assistants and all the team involved. So I really love like day one, week one, day one. What you have to do this. Can you send the homework, the assignment? Yes, boom. Peer review, professor review, automatic feedback. Okay, where I should improve. That was so powerful for me because I learned the best this way. So I don't know who are the master engineers behind the real world, but this is how people should learn. Really, you learn by doing things. I think it's Luke said that you learn to fight by fighting, and you learn how to make money by making money. And I really like this quote stick to my mind because it's so true. Like, why would you go for a master's degree, a bachelor degree, 3 4 years to learn some theory from old books from a teacher who doesn't have a business, and then what? Then you have this expensive paper, and go find yourself a job now, and be stuck in the matrix. Like it's for me, it's no, I see it so obviously because I wouldn't say I'm out of the matrix yet, don't have the capital yet, but it's funny to see like you can find your own way, but you need a network and you need a community with like-minded brothers. I know there's a couple girls also in the real world which I respect a lot, so sisters also, and yeah, just focus on one thing, which can bring me to a second point. I did do the marketing bootcamp also together with copywriting, but when the marketing bootcamp started, copywriting went on the back burner, and I used these skills and resources to deliver for my clients, but I was not actively doing the lessons. So just there was a switch for me because I could feel, yes, I like to write, but I felt like the video aspect of marketing was more interesting for me, and there was like something else to learn. I had zero background in video editing. I learned how to edit. I had a couple of videos go over 1 million views, 100,000 likes per videos, thousands of comments. So I knew how to make viral videos. Well, this is again a skills built from scratch, which is very very valuable on the market. If you can bring that to your client, of course they're happy.
I think one how would I say? For me, I done that path as well. I done copywriting, then video editing, kind of social media marketing. What I preferred with video editing and social media marketing was that you get direct feedback on the work you do. If it doesn't get views, it's likely because you didn't do a good job on that video, especially consistently. If you're getting low views, clearly that's a problem with you, not the people watching.
Correct.
So yeah, there's that direct feedback. And then when you do something well, then boom, your video blows up and you
Yeah.
learn to replicate that. Whereas with copywriting, it's a much longer process to actually find out if what you're doing is working, and yeah, that kind of direct feedback I did enjoy more with video editing. That's at
Yeah.
least my experience.
I would like to share something that maybe could inspire mindset things for people who are editing videos. Like if you're editing right now or you hire somebody, like just a mindset tip here. If you post a video on TikTok and it's like it's night, it's evening, it's late, you're tired, you finish your video, you post, and now you're in your mind like, oh yeah, this one will go viral. I can feel it. This is gonna be a great video. I'm gonna hit 100K, 1 million view. How many times, bro? I woke up and the video was not as good as I was expecting. And then I start to doubt myself. I start to think, oh, I'm not a good editor. Like people don't know what is good video. It's like just blaming everything else, blaming the world, blaming myself. And the truth is, you never know which video will go viral. Like even the best in the world, if you don't have a big like following base, the video you think is, oh my god, this is so good, it might be very normal. So my tip here: don't get attached to any numbers you see on social media. Any views, likes, comments, subscribe, all of this is the truth is, do you make a difference in the life of the viewer? Did you bring either entertainment or values like educational stuff or mindset stuff, life improvement stuff? If you didn't, then of course it's a bad video. But if you did your best, then be glad and just on to the next one. There's nothing bad with that. Sometimes it's a hit or miss with the algorithms. So yeah, just learn to not take things personally in this ruthless game of business and marketing, especially online, because it's such a vast sea, and you're throwing a pebble in the ocean, and you expect it to make a tsunami. Not as easy, brother.
Interesting. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess that's a different approach as well. So I'm fine with moving on now to how different is your average day now compared to before you joined the real world?
So how different? I would say now I have much more work on the computer, but by myself. So instead of being always teaching and speaking with people on camera, I have to think more about like planning content, creative ideas for branding, copywriting to some extent. But now I really have a team, to be honest. Like I hired copywriters, so I think that's something that most people can aspire to. If you learn skills in the real world, you learn as a first man or first woman. Like I do this now, let me do copywriting. But as you become better and your time becomes more valuable, I'm not saying you should never be like you could be a copywriter and make 50K a month. No problem, it's possible. But I think most of the people in the real world will eventually try to think, okay, how can I use this for my business on a larger scale so I can have employees, I can have partners, and that's what happened to me. And I think it's even more enjoyable when you know what you're speaking about. Like I can speak about copywriting, I can speak about video editing, short form content, I can speak about email marketing, about funnels. So if you know what you speak about, you can attract people who can deliver the order for your client, but you don't have to do it yourself. So you can be, in this case, you're the project manager or you're just the owner and you take care of everything, but you don't have to be the guy working 16 hours a day doing one thing. So yeah, I think it's good to start with one skill or two skills, but as you grow and you have more confidence, more experience, definitely start to delegate and find the right people who are maybe less experienced. They need some experience. My copywriter is very young. He also has a background in the real world. So I hired him and he's very happy to get in some experience and I pay him according to his level and he's happy with that. So everybody's happy here.
Very nice. So you've been
Yeah,
using the real world to find copywriters.
exactly. Yeah.
Nice. Good stuff.
And editors too, to be honest. Like both my editors also use tutorials from the real world, and I had some success with all the beautiful teachings from Ole, Luke, and
Mhm.
these guys. Yeah.
Great. Love that. So going back to when you started out with copywriting, what was the biggest challenge you faced? Again, when first starting out.
Oh, that's a very good question. The biggest challenge, I would say, is the consistency. Like because for me, my first job as a copywriter, it was not even like I was transcribing podcast episodes to articles, but I had to make them appealing. I had to make them like just because if you speak like this on the podcast, there will be many filler words. It's not always appropriate for the written format, but I had to transform podcasts into medium articles and with a nice image. So sometimes I use some AI image that I learned from the real world. So the biggest challenge, it's a good question, man, because I think like my experience as a copywriter maybe was minimal in terms of long projects, but I would say somebody who start from scratch is maybe just get used to how can I get the attention of people. And if you're not used to say like to write fascinations, to which words are gonna capture the audience more, this can be tricky because I remember seeing some headlines and I can be honest with myself, like this suck. This is not catching my eye. If I write this subject line on an email, nobody will open it. It's boring. So I would say like don't be boring, but you don't like you go over the boring part by actually doing the thing. So yeah, and maybe just also being consistent, not skip days. Like if you see you have a task list for the day, can you actually do the task list? Can you be honest with yourself, or you have okay, I have to do this, but I'm gonna stop halfway. So yeah, I think the work ethic is something that most young people struggle with, which is of course I'm human, bro. Yeah, I still have my days which are not 100% in the mood, but again, how you feel and from Tate himself, how you feel and things you have to do are very different. So find your discipline, find your consistency, practice every day, and success will come from that if you just never give up. To be honest, it's very cliche, I usually don't say I can never give up, but it's actually people. It's one thing to say it, but to actually live it and say, okay, I'm gonna give my best in that until I get X amount of dollars. Or like yesterday, I said I'm not gonna eat until I receive some money, and then I received 1,500 and I ate. So side story.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good stuff, yeah. And I mean, since you ended off with the eating part, I'll just carry on real quick. I do something similar. I mean, I make sure I have my work done or do a large portion of my work and then I actually eat. Because it seems eating breakfast early in the day just contributes to laziness. Because
Yeah.
what did you really do to earn that
To
food? Let's say
deserve this
in
waffles.
hundreds of years ago, or basically before
Yeah.
agriculture, when you needed to go out hunting, I mean, then yeah, you actually get your spear, go out, look for the animal in a
Yeah.
tribe, hunt it, bring it back, cook it. I mean, how much of the day has gone by then? Whereas now you wake up, boom, fill yourself with
Yeah.
food, and then expect to perform properly throughout the day. I don't know. I guess some people can do it. I just prefer
Yeah.
to live more to my base instincts. Maybe that's a
Yeah.
weird way of phrasing it, but yeah.
Now I'm 31 years old, so I'm a bit on the older side for the real world, to be honest.
You're
And
really not. You'd be surprised.
really? Okay. So
Yeah,
anyway,
there's a
so
lot of older guys I've interviewed now.
I experienced with intermittent fasting for many years since maybe I was 18. So like 16, 18 hours a day was very easy for me, and I was going through school, fasted until like mid afternoon, and I could see how people had their after lunch slump, like just carbs, and then they're just dying on the desk, and I was like alert and just having good grades because I was able to focus. Nowadays, I'm not only eating IF. Sometimes I eat breakfast. I have a wife and a kid, so sometimes I eat waffles in the morning. I'm not super stuck on things, but I can really say like if you fill your belly up like with 1,000 calories at 9 o'clock, most probably at 10:30 you have like a little ugh. So it depends what you do in the morning. If you go to the gym, if you do some copywriting. So I'm very flexible because I've experimented with all of that in the past. So now I'm like very free flowing how my body feels today. Yeah, yesterday fasted 22 hours, felt great. Today this morning ate breakfast, eggs and toast. So it depends.
Right,
Little
right.
fitness, yeah, side.
Cool. So back to the real world.
Mhm.
What have been the three biggest lessons you've learned from your time within the real world?
The three biggest lessons. I would say number one, if you want to do something in life which is like a high paying skill, find somebody who did it before and emulate them. Top G spoke about this in many podcasts, and I cannot relate enough. Like people have to understand this. If you want to become a blacksmith in back in the days, you have either a father, an uncle, and you just learn the trade. In this year, in this and age, if you go to university and have a silly degree in something that nobody cares about, like what do you want from that? Except spend 50, 100, $250,000 on a degree. Find somebody, even if it's a mentor. Let's say you're not in the real world and you just go in your city, you have local people, and you want to do, I don't know, carpenter business. Find one great carpenter and go ask, can I work for you for free? Internship for the summer, for example, or work for minimum wage, just to give you some little taste. But then you learn by observing, by doing. So that was my first lesson from the real world. Having, well, is it a lesson? Having the right teachers that can teach me something, and just, I don't know anything about this. Let me follow their steps, step by step, even if I think, oh, I don't agree with that. Let your ego aside and just follow the steps. Lesson number one. Lesson number two, you're better to win with a team than alone. Me trying to do copy or video editing by myself, day after day, many hours a day, mostly editing, to be honest. Like when I was editing, it was like very intense. I would go absolutely crazy if I didn't have anybody to speak with. I would just lose my mind because it becomes so. Yeah, you're just stuck in your on your CapCut or your
Yeah, it becomes
Premiere Pro.
mundane, really.
Yeah, so you need some support system. And now, as I said, I'm in other networks, also private networks, which I have paid for, and I just love the interaction of having winners around you. You know these guys, they have your back. You're on the same mission. So never try to succeed alone. This is a recipe for disaster, a recipe for failure. People who say, "Oh, he's a self-made entrepreneur, self-made millionaire." BS. I don't believe that. Maybe it looks good on paper on Forbes magazine. Maybe self-employed billionaire, self-made billionaire. True, but do we see like solo, like I didn't have anybody to help him to get to this level? Come on, we know it's not true. Yeah. So second lesson is this: surround yourself with good winners, people who have the same mindset as you to win. And the third lesson, what could be my third lesson with the real world? I would say stick to a thorough discipline, like every day. If you have your task is for the day, if you say you're going to do it, you do it. Sleep is important, don't get me wrong, but if you haven't finished and like it's 10:30 at night or whatever time it is, most people in the real world, those who succeed really, will be able to finish the task list and say, okay, like now I deserve my rest, now I deserve my time with my wife, I deserve my time to go out in the park or whatever. So yeah, to recap, so first lesson, if you want to do something, find a mentor who did it before you, emulate him or her. Number two, surround yourself with absolute winner wolves. Don't be alone. Find with a killer instinct for marketing, for business, everything, and then stick to a very structured, disciplined daily habits. And these little habits will become big success over time.
Very nice. Great points. Thank you for the insights. And since you're on this trajectory now, where do you see your life heading in, let's say, 6 months to 1 year? Or if applicable, give me a different time span as well.
Yeah, 6 to 12 months, very easy for me to imagine. Now it's April, right? Yeah.
Okay.
With the yeah, sorry, now it's May. So in the next 6 to 12 months, I would love to reach 50K a month. I think that's realistic profit. So in one of my network now we have this challenge. We have 18 months actually to achieve this level of 50K a month profit. But I told myself I'm gonna do it in like 15, 6 to 12 months. So because I said it and now it's on Rumble, I have no choice but to do it.
Good.
So, but it's not only about money, bro. So for me, money is one thing, but I would love to help my family have a better lifestyle. My parents are close to retire. I would love to pay the mortgage on the house, which is still a significant amount, and travel more the world. I know a few languages. I want to make more connections. I want to have a bigger impact on the world, and within my business with the agency, help bigger clients with can then they will have a bigger impact on the world with their products and services. So yeah, man, the next year will be very big for me, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to speak. I'm very open, so anybody, like, I know it's not the end yet, but anybody who has a question, I'm super into the big brother mentality. I have this, so I have three siblings, and I always was like, okay, how can I lead by example? How can I share the wisdom? And yeah, most people who know me from my different networks, they will say, well, he had a call with me. He wasn't expecting anything. He gave me value. And I just see this for any relationship, both personal and professional. If you can give value first, they will remember you. And even though if you don't make money right now, what can happen is in 6 months, maybe he knows somebody who knows somebody, and this guy needs a contract for 10K, and it is yours because of that. So don't make enemies. Don't be people pleasing either, but you don't need to, yeah, just be a professional. Be a professional in everything you do. Again, it's very thematic with what Tate is saying, but I really believe so. Like, if I meet people, it will be from handshake, eye contact. How can I help you today? My pleasure. Let's make this happen. If I don't have the solution yet in my mind, I can still say yes ethically, knowing I can deliver by asking my team, okay, how can we make this happen as soon as possible with quality?
Cool. Good stuff. So when I said we'll do a follow up in about 3 months, obviously, I say obviously. I mean, I'm not expecting you to have hit 50K by then, but it will still be good to see the progress you're making. And then the part three will be once you've hit 50K.
Let's
That should
go.
be good.
Awesome. Love that.
All right. So now to end off, For people who are still unsure about joining the real world, they're thinking, I'm going to get scammed. My $50. No, they're gonna go bankrupt because I. Anyway, they're thinking they're gonna get scammed for $50. What advice would you have to them?
I will be very honest with you. I think some people in life are not made for success. And if you cannot afford $50 on yourself, on your own education, which I am a proof of, I spent 50 a month and I made thousands each month back. Which other course gives you this ROI in your life? I have never met like anything else like this, to be honest, right now. If you're afraid to lose $50, then maybe you should not join. And maybe you should just remain poor. I know it's brutal what I'm saying, but I came to believe like if you need motivation to spend $50 on learning how to make money online in this modern economy, then stay broke, my friend. And people who are ready to take action, which are already 200 something thousand in the real world, they are taking action every single day. And every single day that you are on your couch eating Doritos, thinking about your $50, there are 14-year-old guys making 10K a month. I know a guy, very successful, 14, 16 years old, making thousand and thousand a month, and you are in your pajama on your computer. So wake up. Maybe this is a sign from the universe. Wake up, stand up, take this $50, invest in yourself, give yourself the full first month, make connections, and maybe you will not get your first client in the first month. That's possible. It took me 5 weeks, but you will be well on your way versus doing nothing. Make sense?
All right. That was very good timing by your daughter. As soon as you said wake up, for her to
To
start
wake up,
crying.
yeah.
Yeah,
She's not
good
crying.
timing.
She's playing, and she's very happy. Yeah.
Okay, so for people who want to find out more about you or contact you, where can they do so?
Yeah, so my first choice would be Telegram. So my handle is Wise Professional. Wise Professional, very easy to remember, which represents pretty much who I am. Like, I love to share my wisdom, and I'm professional in everything I do. And now she's laughing so like a crazy. It's so funny.
Yeah.
And also, our company is a Digital Anomaly. So Digital Anomaly, I can give you the link. We have
Yep.
to yeah, we're working on the website to get improved, but it's still, the agency is legit. We have this, so I can give my email, but to be honest, Telegram is the best way. So I think it's just easiest for me to communicate. I'm always online. I work on my computer, not 24/7, but if I'm awake, I'm online. So it's very easy to reach. And if you have any question, any business opportunity, I would love to hear.
Great. So I will add those to the description of the video. Anyone interested, check it out. And Anthony, all the best to you. Thank you for all the insights, and look forward to that follow up.
Thank you, my friend.
Until
Let's go
then,
for part two. I will give my best now. It's on the internet. I have no choice but to perform. So in 3 months, let's aim for this 20K. I think it's realistic.
good, love that. All right, so until next time.
Thank you. Bye bye.